Hello, creatures! Welcome back to the depths.
Creatures! Welcome
I
back,
hope
our
you've
little
done your
slimy
quest.
creatures.
Otherwise, you don't get this potion I've been brewing for
No, I
you.
want the potion so bad. Please, let me have it.
It's not for you, it's for the creatures.
No, the creatures.
Oh
Well,
my.
creatures, happy Thursday. Hope you
Happy
guys are
Thursday.
doing your quests. Our Monday quest was to accept the call. Wow, okay, it's
Do
been a long
something
day.
that you've been
Yeah.
putting off for a while.
Yes, yeah. So, Ari, have you done yours yet?
I have done one out of
Hmm.
two. If
Yeah.
you guys remember, I said I had two in mind.
Hmm.
One of them was to write out um the pieces of paper that I had written at
Yeah.
work
Hmm.
onto a Google Doc. And I had done that. And those four tiny little pieces of paper turned into two whole pages of work.
Wow. Oh, that's awesome.
And I'm obsessed with it. It led
Yeah.
me to having more ideas about the story.
Hmm.
Um, Also, I've been cleaning, so my nose is stuffy. I'm not sick. I
Mhm.
just sound like I'm sick.
I love
But
it.
yes, so I did one of them. And I forget my other one, so I'll have to go back and listen to the podcast
Yeah.
to remind myself what
Hmm.
I have to do because
Yeah.
that's what happens when you put it off for so long.
Right.
Have you done yours, Maggie?
No, I haven't. But the week's not over yet, so I'm still counting it as a work in progress.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I have, like I said, I have a huge mountain of laundry in my room that I need to do, and I think it's alive now. It's like kind of like looking at me.
It's like spawning,
Yeah.
coming to life.
It's like,
It's
please
like
put me
it's like
away.
that it's like that hag woman in Labyrinth that has all the clothes on her back.
Yeah, that's what's in my room
Just
right now.
crawling around the room.
Yeah, it is not pretty, but next week, next Monday, it will be done. I promise.
I can't wait to see the transformation
Yeah.
video.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be good. But yeah, that's Monday's quest. Hope you guys are on it. Let us know how your quests are going, and we
Hmm?
can cheer you on.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Yeah. So last week we talked about the first little part of the hero's journey, which was the departure from the ordinary world into the new, beautiful, magical, crazy world.
Yeah. Yep. We have
Mhm.
the call of the adventure
Mhm.
coming into your ordinary world, your refusal to the call, your mentors guiding you through this threshold, departing from that ordinary world. We are your mentors,
Yes, we are.
telling you to answer that call.
Mhm.
And now today, we cross the threshold.
And it's beautiful over here.
Wow, it's crazy over
Yeah.
here. I kind of love
Yeah, I think I'll stay for a little while.
So
But yeah.
typically, when crossing the threshold, this is when you take all that preparation that you've been doing and you're able to use it in this new world, but also learn some new things along the way because it's so different from your normal world. It is so crazy from what you're used to in your typical day to day. So today, I also want to highlight the importance of going out of your comfort zone.
Yes, that is a
So,
really big thing, especially that things that we're talking about on this podcast, like we might not be used to doing them, which is like the point. We want you to do things that you're not usually doing. So, a lot of times when we're crossing the threshold in literature and media, it's like you're entering into a world where you have no idea what's happening. And you often find people along the journey that give you things that you need to survive this new world. When Sir Lancelot went on his quest for the Holy Grail, he meets the Lady of the Lake who gives him Excalibur and all of these fancy little magical tools that he can use in the new world to kind of, blend in and figure out things as he goes.
Excalibur the same sword that's in the stone?
I don't
Is that a different
remember.
sword?
Let's find out.
Is that the same story?
I actually don't know because what's his name? Arthur pulls it.
Yeah, Arthur pulls it out, but how
Is
did
it?
it get in there?
I don't know.
I need to touch up on my nightly
Yeah.
stories. Is
Well,
all I'm hearing.
yeah, we need to do some research, get some books. I think it is. I think it is the
It
same.
is the same sword.
Yeah,
Oh, interesting.
yeah. But also, these stories were written like a long time ago, so I feel like there's a lot of plot holes.
Oh, absolutely. I
Yeah.
mean, even with the plot holes, though, I like there is so much metaphors
Yeah.
and emotion in these
Hmm.
stories. So even with the plot holes, it's very easy to like read it and be like, "Oh,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
get it."
You can kind of like pick
Sometimes
whichever
you can like,
adaptations you
yeah,
align with. You're like, I think
yeah,
I
you
like
can
this
definitely
version of the
pick
story
pieces out
better.
of it.
Yeah, which I'll talk about next time when I talk about Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, which is one of my favorite
Yes.
stories, based on the adaptation of the 2021 movie. It's my favorite version because it is kind of spooky and
Mm.
it's super fun and it has like an ambiguous ending. But anyway, that's next week.
Yeah, next week Maggie and I will be exploring specific stories that we love about
Oh yeah.
knights and
Hmm.
medieval and things like that. But also speaking of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, I read the story.
Yeah, yeah.
I read it for like a medieval literature class,
Hmm.
and there are so many like metaphors in there. There is
Oh
so
yeah.
much to talk
It's
about.
it's heavy.
I'm
Hmm.
very excited. And it is spooky when you're reading it too.
Yeah.
There's like some really dark imagery in there.
Hmm.
So I'm glad that the adaptation you're choosing is like similar in
Yeah.
its respective, way of
Hmm.
telling the story.
Yeah. It
But
has a
anyway,
lot
this
of.
week,
Anyway, that's next week. That's next week. I'm too excited.
wait till next week, guys.
Yeah. A little teaser for the Green
Yeah, just
Knights.
a little, just to keep you hanging on a little bit longer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But you were talking about reading it in a class.
Yeah.
So why don't we dive into a little bit of more of our experiences with like the medieval fantasy elements that
Yeah.
inspired us to make this podcast?
So I guess like mine personally, I don't have too many besides
Mhm.
that medieval literature class and maybe some childhood movies, which will be my example next week. So I'm not
Ooh.
gonna tell you what, but and then obviously everyone knows of King Arthur, and then there's the Disney movie
Mhm.
Sword in the Stone. I think that there's another movie that's not particularly that I won't be talking about next week, but there's another movie that's very kind of like dark ages, medieval, and that's another Disney movie called The Black Cauldron.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
that movie's crazy and
Mhm.
dark, and it's like a kids movie.
Yeah.
Um, and I feel like that there's a lot of stories and representation of medieval stories and night stories and things like that that are just all dark. There is so much to go
Mhm.
off of. But yeah, I've actually never been to like a Ren fair or anything. I get my tavern videos from TikTok. I
Those are so good.
just I'm immersed.
You're in there, yeah.
I'm in it. Uh, and I've only ever played D&D one time, and
But it was a great time.
it was a great time, the best time. So maybe someday again I'll be able to be a little tavern mouse with my friends.
One day. I loved that little mouse.
I always tell everybody because our whole friend group did this D&D
Mhm.
where my character was like a woodland mouse, and she
Mhm.
was like, so she was bigger than the average mouse, almost like a
Yeah.
rat.
Mhm.
And she hung out in Maggie's hair, like
Yeah.
sat on her shoulder, like clinging to a piece of her
Mhm.
hair, because all of the group were like normal sized people.
Yeah,
And
and I
I
was
was
like
the only,
I was
only
like an
one that was like,
emo teen lightning sorceress,
yeah.
and you were my only friend. It was such a good story.
And I just like sat in your hair all the
Yeah.
time, and I
Man,
would
that
like
was so good.
I would like whisper things and like talk shit in her
Yeah.
ear
Oh
all
my god.
day.
Mwah. Beautiful story. Man,
Oh
that
my
was
god,
good.
fantastic!
Yeah, we got to
I
bring those characters back.
we do.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, y'all, you know how complicated it is being a mouse in a world full of average sized human beings.
You got to do
Like,
some critical thinking during those
especially like
campaigns.
with the battles, it was so funny because
Yeah.
our DM was laughing every time we had a battle because every time I did an ability, it like did nothing, like no damage. It was just like I was a distraction. Imagine like you're a
Oh my
big
gosh.
boss in a fight
Yeah.
and there's like a fly just like flying
Just
around your head.
pestering you.
It's me. I
Yeah.
am the fly.
And I was like lighting people on fire with my mind. And Ari was like, swish, 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 stay back.
Oh my gosh. And then like whenever I needed food or drink, like Maggie would have to get like 2 coffees and carry them.
Yeah, because she was
And
so small.
because I couldn't carry.
So good. So great.
Oh my gosh. I have a whole backstory. We could do a D&D day
We
one
should do a day
time.
where we break down our campaigns because I have
Oh,
some great stories.
absolutely.
One time
Oh my
I
gosh.
did a rap battle in the woods, similar to like answering a troll's riddles. Instead, I just had to rap battle them. I won, needless to say.
Yes. As you
Another
should.
shout out to Trey, the best DM in the world. He
The
came
best
up with
DM in
that
the
one.
world.
Yeah.
That is so funny.
Yeah. It was great. And then I always play a bard, so I was trying to seduce this guy to let me into his kingdom to the point where he literally killed me. It was not working. But I tried like 6 times.
Oh
And
my
then,
god.
and then Trey was like, "You cannot do this." And I was like, "I'm gonna
You
try
cannot do
one
this
more
again.
time." And then he killed me.
Not the DM literally breaking character to be like, you will die.
He's like,
Like, you
"This is not
cannot.
going to work." But it could. It
I
could.
said, but what if?
And I got out my little lyre and I was singing to him.
And then he killed
And
you.
then yeah, I got killed.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
If any of y'all have ever played D&D, let us know.
Yeah, tell us your
Maybe
favorite
one day
stories.
we'll do a little campaign.
Oh my gosh, that's such a good
We
idea.
build our community. We have a little community campaign.
Okay, yes. We'll put a pin in that. That's such a
Idea
good idea.
pinned.
Yeah, that's so great.
But yeah, so I have not had a lot of experience with like I guess medieval or things like that. I actually most of my experience comes from you and the rest of the friend group.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Mhm.
I just kind of just go along with it, honestly.
I love it. I love it. Well,
What about you, Maggie?
I've definitely had a bit more experience. Kind of that like historical fantasy has always been like my thing. I
Mm,
love like mythical creatures. I probably have like 20 unicorns in my room right now.
yeah.
Did you ever watch the Disney movie Avalon High?
Yes.
Yeah, that was like the very first thing where I was introduced to like King Arthur and Merlin and all the knights. And I
Mm.
was like, I love this. And
Oh my
then
gosh, wait, I forgot about that.
and like House of Anubis was centered on like Egyptian mythology, all of these like
Yes.
kids shows that
I
brought
love
in the elements.
mythology.
It is so great. And so I just kept learning and things like that. And then like fantasy novels now are like all I pretty much read just because they're so easy to read because you get swept up in the
Oh
world
yeah.
and the romance and the magical
Oh
adventures.
yeah.
Yeah, so good to read. And yeah, D&D has been a huge thing for me. Just coming up with stories, being able to kind of do whatever you want because this world is like there's no limits in the world that you create in your mind. You can do whatever you
Truly.
want, which I love. I wish life was like that in real life. I always talk about like I wish I was a cartoon character in real life. So I could like pull a hammer out of my pocket or like float through the air
Yes.
when I
You
smell
know,
a
or when like
pie.
when they I was gonna say when they smell a pie and they start floating.
Yeah, and when I
Yes.
see someone cute and I'm like, oh, boy, yo, 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 yo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, wish I could do that. I wish there were no limits in my real life, but there are. So,
That
and
reminds me of like
yeah,
the movie Roger Rabbit, where like
yes,
it's that
yeah.
blend of reality and cartoon,
Hmm.
and the humans don't have the cartoon abilities, but all the
Yeah.
cartoons have their abilities in the
Hmm.
real world that
Yeah.
have consequences in the real world.
Love that. Love that.
That is such a crazy
There's
genre.
actually there's a term for that genre. It's called magical realism,
Oh,
which is like it's a realistic setting, but it has magical elements. And I like to think that's kind of where I live.
yeah,
Just like in that kind of cusp between real and fake,
I
fiction and
love that.
reality is like my favorite thing in the whole world, which is why I love Renaissance fairs so much. Because it's a real place, you're real people, but there's so
But
many
it
elements
feels
of like a
magical.
fantasy world that you're almost in
Yes.
it. And it is so great. So I do all the cosplaying, I go to all the events, I
Yeah.
support my local tavern merchants. So great. And that's
Yeah.
kind of what led me to this podcast was loving all of those stories and wanting to interpret them or incorporate them more into my life.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's like one of my favorite things when it comes to experiences is like the immersion factor.
Hmm.
And like that's what I imagine Renaissance fairs are like, is
Oh
because
yeah.
everyone's in character, everyone's
Yeah.
in costume.
It's
Some of
so
them are
much
like
fun.
crazy,
Yeah.
I imagine, and just like that's what like I
Hmm.
want when I make my coffee shop bookstore is I want to
Yeah.
bring in that immersion factor because
Hmm.
like escapism is so fun and it can be
Hmm.
so important
Oh
and
yeah.
so comforting,
Hmm.
and most people find that in like books or even video games.
Hmm.
But like imagine if you could get that like touch of magic and escapism in your real life.
Yeah.
Like the perfect example is like it's super expensive, but Disney World. It like
Exactly. Hmm.
is the perfect example, or Rainforest Cafe. I always
Yeah.
bring it up because I
Love the Rainforest
love
Cafe.
Rainforest
Hmm.
Cafe. It just if I'm able to sit down and literally like feel like hear sound and smell like I'm in a rainforest,
Hmm.
that's crazy. Like
Yeah.
it makes the experience go from ordinary to extraordinary immediately without me
Yeah.
having to even do anything.
Hmm.
And same thing with Disney World. The line to the rides are
It's my favorite part.
you're in it. You're in the
Yeah.
world. They put you in
Hmm.
there. And it's like it's so like even Universal is the same thing. They put you in there
Hmm.
and it's so I can't even I just love it. It does
Yeah.
something to my brain.
Yeah, I feel like in those places there's also like a sense of community too. Because like when you go to Ren fairs or you're like in line at Disney World, it's kind of like you're in your own little pocket dimension.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
everyone there is a part of that tiny community for that moment. And
Yes.
you kind of share in this little like make believe escapism world. And
Oh
everyone's
yeah.
just so like happy to be there. Like at Ren fairs, people like put on a little accent and they'll like help you
Mhm.
down the stairs if you're dressed like a princess, or they'll like bow to
Yes.
you when you walk by. Just like buying into the whole escapism thing altogether is so much fun.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
I love that. So you dress up every time you go, right?
Yes, yeah.
Do you make all of your costumes?
I'm trying to for this one. I am really going out of my comfort zone and trying to make a ridiculous costume. I bought like 2,000 tiny little metal rings to make chainmail, and
Oh
it is
yeah.
so
Have you
hard.
wait, so have you started?
I have. I'll post a picture of it, but I have like a strip like this long. It like
Oh my
barely
god.
like it's like wraps around my neck, and so I'm trying to do like the whole little cowl thing.
Yeah. Oh my god.
So hopefully I finish
Your
it by
fingers,
Memorial
how are
Day.
your fingers not falling
I have
apart?
two tiny little pliers that I do it with, which is very helpful, but my fingers still hurt from the
Sounds
pliers.
so yeah, it sounds
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
tedious.
But when I
But it's
first
gonna look
started,
sick.
yeah, I'm so excited. But when I first started, I think I wore a dress from Target and like a $20 corset from Amazon. Just
Yeah.
like and like boots, like winter boots, just like
Just
brown
like
boots that I
boots.
had. Yeah, just like boots. So it's like it's not super hard to get into. You just have
Yeah.
to have a vision in your head of what you want to do. And I just wore like a little, I think it was like a plaid dress, and I had this like kind of like Scottish Highland vibe going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, and then from there I kind of evolved and like more things I want to do. I wore an old dance costume one year, and I went as a fairy, and I just wore like a little purple skirt and like a
Yes.
flower crown, and I just went as a fairy. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. So I mean, you probably have things in your closet that you can wear.
Just like throw it together
Yeah,
and
I always
make
try
it
to bring
work.
like my guy friends, and I'm like, just wear a white button-down shirt and then tie a scarf around your waist, and you're a pirate.
Literally,
That's all you need.
I've seen so many people just be like, honestly, if you don't know what to wear, just put a bunch of layers on and
Yeah,
then like fix the layers so you can see each layer in between the
right.
layers. And then it will just look like a ruffly like
Yeah.
outfit, but
Hmm.
it fits. It looks good.
Yeah,
And then
like
just
the
add like
messier you can
crazy
make it,
accessories
yeah, the
and
more
just like
jewelry, the
go
messier it is, the more
yeah.
realistic it looks. That's what
Yeah.
everybody looked like in the olden days, right?
Oh, absolutely.
They all wore Doc Martens and dresses from Target. I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
Yeah, but I
How do
don't
you
really
think Doc
go.
Martens came about?
Right? They were made in the 1500s. I'm almost positive that Shakespeare
Pretty
wore them.
sure.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I
Mhm.
yeah, I can only imagine like what the community that brings about because
Yeah.
in everyday life we're also scared to like dress a certain way or stand
Hmm.
out or look a certain way.
Yeah.
But when it's something like a Ren Fair or like even Pirate Fest that's coming in a few weeks,
Hmm.
like that people are not afraid to go crazy. And like
Oh yeah,
you hear and see so many people are like, "Oh, I wish I could dress like that every day." And it's like, "Well, you kind of
you could.
can,
Yeah.
but you like, not every day is a Ren fair, so
Hmm.
you have to also be ready for people to be like, "What is she wearing?"
Right.
But there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But I think the community that you get from, things like the Ren fair is so important because like social isolation and loneliness can be like real killer.
Oh yeah.
And so going to those things and feeling like, oh, like there are other people who like to dress this way like I do,
Hmm.
or like to live in this in between delusional land.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like also like me,
Hmm.
and we can
Yep.
all be in this together.
Hmm. Yeah,
And that
just
has so
bonding
many
over that.
positive things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bonding over that need for like escapism is something that's always been really present at the like Ren fairs, and like
Yeah.
playing Dungeons and Dragons, or even like going to the bookstore down the street. Everyone there is looking for the same thing, which is like a way to escape from their mundane reality.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I've met some people that like don't feel that way. Don't feel
So
like
crazy.
which is so weird to
Yeah.
think about.
Hmm.
Like it's just I can't picture not wanting to live in a magical land.
Right? You're happy with no dragons?
you're, you're happy not having like quests every day and magical
Yeah.
fairy friends like
Right. Oh my gosh. I used to ask people all the time, like, if you were in the zombie apocalypse right now, what would you do? And when
yeah.
people were just like, nothing, like they wouldn't say anything, I'd get so mad. Like,
No,
what do you mean
seriously.
nothing?
I had like a contingency plan.
Yeah.
I even
Hmm.
now
Even
at
now.
24 years of
Hmm.
age, I
You never know.
still have a contingency plan
Hmm.
of everything that I'm going to grab, do, where I'm going to go
Yeah.
if in case of a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
It's just
important.
like, yeah.
Hmm.
I like how this episode started off with like continuing into the hero's journey, but now we're into the realm of escapism, which I
Yeah.
guess is kind of fitting
Yeah.
because we are crossing the
The
threshold.
threshold, yeah,
This is the
from
threshold.
reality to
We are
fantasy.
escaping the reality.
Yeah. Yeah. Did we ever ask you the question? Our friend group used to ask everyone that we meet, if you had a castle, where would it be and what would it look like? And the more detail they
Yes.
went into, the more we could trust them as a person.
Yes, I remember. The only reason I remember this is because I told you guys my idea. I don't remember it now. I would
Hmm.
probably pick something different. But I
Yeah.
was sitting in the back seat of Trey's car
Yep.
and we were talking about it. And then you guys brought up redacted and how he said he would put guns on top of his castle. So we were laughing and talking about that for like the next
Oh my
hour.
gosh.
And
Yeah.
then Trey almost hit a trash can, and we were making fun of his driving for the rest of the
Oh
night.
my gosh. What a day. What a day. But yeah, I
But I
think
did. I did say I don't. What would your castle be, Maggie? Go ahead, tell us right
Um,
now.
so I always said that if I had a castle, it would be located in an enchanted forest, and you could only
Mm.
access it if you were pure of heart. If not, you would get
Mm.
lost in the enchanted forest. But
I
if
love that.
yeah, but if you are pure of heart, then the trees will open up and there'll be like a stream and like little deer drinking from the stream and rabbits running by, and then there's like an old stone castle that has like all these wacky turrets and stuff that like it looks like it doesn't make
Yes,
sense architecturally, and then you go in and there's like a huge library, like a painting room and a giant
beautiful.
fireplace, and obviously a huge ballroom so we can dance.
I love that you're describing to me how your castle looks. I'm still thinking about how imagine someone shows up in the forest. There's
Mhm.
just a bunch of lost people just like wandering around, like stuck in
How
this
do we get to this
forest.
castle?
How do we? Where am I?
Yeah.
Like they've been in the forest for so long that they don't even know their own name at this point.
Right.
Like, but
That's on
the trees
them.
just be opening up for you.
Yeah. Hey, excuse me, I gotta go home.
Sorry guys, I'll see you
You
later.
guys should fix your hearts and then maybe you won't be lost.
Yeah, I love that. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful and scary, terrifying sentiment.
Right. Obviously, like if people get invited to my castle, it'll be easy for them to find it.
Yeah.
But if you
That's
guys
like
are,
that's
if
like
you're
a
mean, stay out.
once you're
Yeah.
mean stay out.
Stay out. No
I love that.
meanies. Mhm.
Yeah, I think my castle would be dark stone
Ooh.
with ivy growing along the edges. And I have a big moat. I feel like a moat is a must.
Yeah.
But I don't have crocodiles in it. I just have like flamingos.
Oh my gosh.
Just
I love
like
it.
hundreds of flamingo. Like you can't even cross the moat without
The pink
disturbing
moat.
the pink moat.
I'm obsessed.
Um, yeah, it's kind of beautiful. I
Mhm.
like alligators are yeah, because they could eat people. But like I don't know if I could have a shark in a moat, maybe I'd have a shark instead.
You can put a shark in the moat.
All right, in this make believe land,
It's your castle. Yeah.
it's true. It is my castle. I'm putting sharks in my moat.
Good. Sharks and flamingos in the moat.
Sharks and flamingos in
I
the
dig it.
moat, and shrimp for the flamingos.
Yes.
And then, I don't like the idea of turrets on the roof.
Yeah.
Unlike redacted, but I'll take a bunch of archers that have flaming arrows 24/7.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah.
I like that.
I also have a giant library that's modeled after Beauty and the Beast.
Oh yeah.
That's a must, of course. And then I have an auditorium, like an
Oh, I
opera
love
room.
that. For the opera.
Mhm. That's a
So cute.
must. And then my grand staircase mimics the Titanic staircase.
Oh yeah. That's sick.
That's my castle,
I'll
guys.
come visit. I like that yours automatically had room for other people, like an auditorium for to watch shows with other people,
Yeah.
and then like a community of archers. And I was like,
Yeah.
and mine was like, you can't even find it.
You get lost on the way.
Yeah, I'm sure a psychologist could like pick our brains apart based on our castles.
Absolutely.
Yeah, which
Somebody please do.
yeah,
We need to run a castle study.
we do. Everyone tell us your
Everyone tell us
castles,
what your castle looks like.
and then we'll take
So
them to a professional.
and we'll pick all of our brains.
Yeah. Wow. Much to think about.
Now I'm thinking about the meaning of a moat. I'm like,
Right.
why did I say that was a must?
Why is a moat a must? I don't have a moat, if that means anything.
You don't have a moat.
Don't have a moat.
Well, anyways, send us your castles, guys.
Yeah.
Unless if you want
try
to
to
draw,
psychologically evaluate us.
yeah, or psychologically evaluate us, or
Mhm.
draw our castles.
Yeah.
I will hang it behind me.
Oh my god, I would cry. It would go right here
Yeah.
in a gold
that would be so
frame.
perfect.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fix my background, guys. It'll be more professional, I
I
swear.
know.
Don't
That's
pay,
our quest coming up.
pay no mind.
Our quest coming up is to make more beautiful backgrounds.
Yeah, we gave ourselves that quest personally.
Yeah. Mhm.
But yeah, okay. Crossing the threshold. Those are our personal experiences
Yeah.
with some knightly tales and the
Mhm.
medieval and things like that.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm going to read you a little snippet about crossing the threshold,
Oh
and then we will
yeah.
dive into today's quests. We have
Perfect.
2 of them for you.
Quest. Tuesday.
Because that ended up being a longer briefing in the beginning of a Thursday episode.
I know.
Than I forgot it was a Thursday episode, so I was
Yeah.
just over here like talking.
Talking.
Which y'all know, or you should know, that will happen from time to time.
We love to talk, and I
Me
hope
and Maggie
you
just
love to hear us talk.
Otherwise, this is awkward.
Otherwise, tune out.
Otherwise, it's a little too late.
Yikes! Who are you expecting?
Awkward. Okay, so together we are crossing the threshold. We are committing to our quest, consciously and unconsciously. We are your guide, your magical helpers. We have appeared to you in your known world to drag you with us into something that could be life changing for you. So I am presenting you with these quests that will act as your artifacts to carry you on your journey. So now we're in the realm of the unknown, right?
Yeah.
And the importance of the unknown is that it is outside of your comfort zone.
Mhm.
And outside of your comfort zone, more often than not, people often say that is where you grow. If you stay inside your comfort zone, you cannot grow because there's nothing challenging you. There's nothing
Hmm.
changing you. There's nothing, for you to live up to, basically. So going outside of your comfort zone allows you to acquire new skills, make new relationships. It teaches you new responses and actions to stress or things that you have to endure on your challenges and throughout your journey. So it gives you these new tasks and challenges that give you new ideas that you can benefit and grow from. It boosts your confidence, boosts your skills. But, all of that to say that, it's not without fear. It is
Yeah.
scary. It can be terrifying. But at the end of it, you won't be scared anymore. And you got all these new things.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that. At the end of it, you're not scared anymore. It has,
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously going to be scary and you might fail along the way. You'll have some successes, you'll have some failures, and you'll probably go back and forth between like, wow, I'm really good at this and I'm the worst person in the world at this. Why am I even trying? But at the end of it, you will be a changed person and you will have learned from it and you won't be afraid to try again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
I mean, even this, like I was thinking earlier when I was like going through the podcast Twitter,
Hmm.
I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like I don't know how to market or manage a podcast or how to
Hmm.
network for a podcast. Like, but I'm saying that when, for streaming, I'm almost at 600 followers, and when I was at 10, I was saying the exact same thing to
Yeah.
myself.
Hmm.
And now it's just kind of like, okay, well, I'm figuring it out along the way. My community's growing like
Hmm.
every stream that I do. And I imagine that will be the same for the podcast. The more
Oh yeah.
work and time that we put into it, as
Hmm.
scary and daunting as it can be to start up like a big creation and community like this, I
Yeah.
imagine, that fear will be justified in the end when we do have a large community and when we
Yeah.
do have people sending us our quests
Hmm.
and things like that. So, yeah. It's
So
it'll be
exciting.
good for you
Yeah.
in the end, but the
Right.
fear,
Hmm.
like I said, if it doesn't challenge you, if it doesn't push you out of your comfort zone, if you're not scared, then
Hmm.
it's not going to change you. It's not going to help you grow. It's not going to
Yeah.
a good friend of mine once said, if it doesn't make you nervous, then it's not important enough.
Oh, I
If
love
you're
that.
nervous, that means you care about what you're doing.
Yeah.
You care about what's
Hmm.
happening. You care about what's going on. It's okay to be nervous. Our
Yeah.
body, registers that as, craziness. And so of course, that makes us scared. But
Hmm.
if you're nervous about it, that means you care enough about it to be nervous.
Yeah.
That's the bright
Hmm.
side of the nerves.
And
So
no one is an expert when they start. Everyone starts as a beginner. So
yeah.
you have to remember like you're not going to be
No.
great at a new thing when you first try it, but that's why you try it to figure out if
Mhm.
you want to keep learning
Yeah.
it.
And
Hmm.
you have to start somewhere. And it's important too, because I believe it was in our last episode or one of our last few episodes, I
Hmm.
was saying that like um sometimes your passion can't carry you all the way and you need something else
Yep.
to motivate you,
Hmm.
right? I like there are so many people that jump into something, uh streaming, podcasting, art, job, whatever, and they expect to immediately get rich and famous.
Right.
And when you don't have that, it dies. It dies
Hmm.
out and you need something to push you further.
Yeah.
And part of that sometimes is your fear. That
Yeah.
is your
Hmm.
nerves. Because otherwise why is it worth doing if it's not pushing you
Hmm.
further?
I love that.
So, I wanted
Hmm.
to bring that up
Love it.
because the now that we're in our magical world, everyone close your eyes and picture it for a moment. What your magical world looks like.
I'm picturing it.
Good. Well, you're in it
It's
now, and we're on our journey to do something out of our comfort zone. For your Thursday quest this week, I want you to break out of your box and do
ooh.
something that crosses the threshold, something out of your ordinary. Break your routine.
Ooh.
Go for a 10-minute walk.
Mhm.
Call an old friend that you haven't talked to. Try a brand new hobby that you started and stopped, or
Mhm.
try a brand new hobby altogether. Do something that is out of your comfort zone or breaks your routine a little bit to
Mhm.
switch things up in your brain.
Oh, I love that. The first thing that came
Mhm.
to my mind was like taking the long way to work or home from work. Just like
Mm.
take the scenic route or like
Yeah.
try a new thing on the menu at your favorite restaurant.
Yes,
Just like,
trying new food is
yeah.
I do that every day.
Oh, I
Every
love
time
that.
I like
Hmm.
get like I go somewhere to order food or whatever, I'm
Hmm.
like, okay, let me try a new coffee this time. Let
Oh,
me
I
try a
love
new.
that.
It's
Hmm.
something so easy, but
Hmm.
either I'm gonna hate it and I just have to get another drink somewhere else, or
Yeah.
I love it
Hmm.
and it's like my new favorite thing. That is
I
such
love
a, oh,
that.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
That's an
because
easy way to do that.
I'm very much get the exact same thing every time I go because I'm like, what if I don't like the new thing? And like, I know I like this,
But you'll
but
never know
yeah,
until you try.
my favorite coffee shop down the street,
Yeah.
they had their winter drinks from like September to February, and then they changed the menu. and,
Oh my god, your drink was
and
gone.
it was gone. And like they opened in August. So I had had this drink the entire time I've been there. And then they took it away. And my mind was
Horrible.
blown. I was like, what am I supposed
Like
to do
in
now?
shambles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like everything is wrong because I can't drink peppermint mocha in March. But I found a new drink that I like. Fear not.
Okay, okay. That's good.
but,
That's
but
good.
but what if they take the spring menu away?
I can't stand you.
I can't stand you.
Oh, gee.
So maybe that'll be mine. Trying something different at a coffee shop every time I go.
Yeah. I
Mhm.
like that. I like that.
Yeah.
I think, hold on, I had mine and I forgot it. I think mine is gonna be, how do I break my routine? What do I do? Go for a walk. Call a friend. Try it. Oh, I remember mine.
You echoed. You were so excited.
Okay. Mine is, so in during COVID 2020, when we
Mhm.
got kicked off of campus,
Sad.
I sad days. Um I have to laugh about it, otherwise I'll cry.
Yeah, yeah.
But freaking when we got kicked off of campus, I was like bored out of my mind
Mhm.
because we didn't really have school for that summer and I couldn't really get a job. Everything was
Yeah.
online. So I was home 24/7 and because
Mhm.
everyone had gone back home, I had like no friends.
Oh.
So I was like sitting in my bed like 24/7 and it was so miserable, but I was like, let me buy a ukulele and
Yes.
start learning the ukulele
Oh
and
my
I have
gosh.
it
I see
still.
it.
So, but I tried to start learning a song and
Mhm.
I literally played the ukulele I think for like 6 months and then I
Mhm.
stopped playing the
Oh
ukulele and I
my
don't know how
gosh.
to play it anymore. So, maybe I'm going to try to learn a few notes and
Please.
I'll be able to do a chord for you guys next
Yeah,
week.
you can play for us. Oh my
I'll
god, I would
just
love
play
it.
a little chord for you
I would
guys.
love it so much.
Cuz like I've always wanted to write a song
Mhm.
and just like, I mean, I already do poetry, but I've
Mhm.
never had like the musical skill to write a
Yeah.
song. So I wanted to get the ukulele because I was like, oh, I can learn to make music
Mhm.
that goes along with my
Yeah.
poetry, basically. And it never went further than that. But I still have it. I painted the
Yeah.
back of it, like I personalized it and
Mhm.
everything, and it just sits there. So I think I'm gonna try to learn a couple chords,
That's so exciting.
break my break my routine.
I've been picking up my guitar a lot more recently too.
Oh,
So let's just start a band as
start
well.
a band.
Yeah.
Pin it.
Putting another pin in that. We have so many ideas. This is our entire life. We get coffee and then we make 1,000 ideas.
No, literally. When it's okay. I posted a picture on Instagram. If you haven't seen
Mhm.
it yet, go check it out. It's a
Love
picture of
that
me and
picture.
Maggie
Mhm.
from literally like the first month that we met each
Yeah.
other. And it was celebrating my birthday. I had
Mhm.
invited all of the college girls to our common room and we were celebrating my birthday. And there was another girl with my same name whose birthday was like 3 days
Oh
before mine. And she was like, "Oh, it's my birthday too." And I was like, "Oh my god, wait, that's crazy."
Yeah.
So we ended up celebrating both of our birthdays, like
Mhm.
eating and having fun and everything like that. But Maggie and I tried to start a blog once.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about our blog.
We tried to start a blog once,
That was like
and
what, 6 years ago?
yeah, and
2018.
I think we had like a domain, and we
Yep.
were planning on traveling together and everything else. It was a little short-lived, but that's
Yeah.
okay.
Oh my
And
gosh.
then what was the other thing? I mean, Maggie and I made a whole bunch of videos for our school newspaper,
Hmm.
but we talked about doing movies, we talked about
Yep.
doing like a YouTube.
We made a short film
We
together,
made a short film together.
which still slaps. I'm so proud of
It
that
is,
film.
I share it every year.
It's so good. It's
Like,
so
I don't
great.
even care if I go to that
Yeah.
school anymore. That
Right.
is pure art right
Hmm.
there.
Yep.
Yeah, Maggie and I have definitely gotten into that creative threshold a lot together.
Oh yeah.
And it just doesn't stop. It always is
We're always
evolving. We
going.
always come up
Hmm.
with these ideas. And we really did, like, we went to coffee shops like multiple times a week, and we would just
Yeah.
like talk for hours in
Sometimes we'd
between
skip
classes,
class
after classes, during
during class.
classes. Don't do that, guys.
No,
Don't
it's
skip
awful.
your
But that
classes.
was one of the best days ever. We were waiting for our econ professor to get to the classroom because they were late, and we were looking at each other, and we were like, "What if we left and went to Dunkin' Donuts?"
Well, because before class we were like, we can't skip anymore
Yeah.
because we were like, we can't skip anymore because
Yeah.
we've already skipped so much to go get coffee and just
Mhm.
talk. So we were like looking at each other like, oh, I guess we'll go to class. And we show
Yeah.
up and she's not there for like
And we were
20
like,
minutes.
this is a
And
sign from the fates that we weren't meant to go to this class today.
so Meg, Maggie looked at me like,
Let's leave.
and we literally just got up and left.
And
But
we
like
left.
so many other people left before us. And I
Yeah.
remember we were like, no, we have to stay for class.
We
Like,
have to stay.
we have to stay.
Mm.
Like trying so hard.
Yeah.
But like half the class had already left because she
Mhm.
didn't email, didn't say anything,
No!
didn't do
And the
anything.
doors were locked.
The
So we were just
doors
stuck
were
in the
locked.
hallway.
It's like,
Yeah.
absolutely not.
It's like she didn't want us to go to class anyway. So
And yeah.
if anything, we were doing her a favor.
Yeah. And then we went to Dunkin' Donuts.
And we had a great time.
And it was a good time.
And I made
Worth it.
my only C of my college career. I made in that class because I skipped so much.
I also got a C.
Nice. But
And in my
that was a
defense,
COVID class, right? Was that a class during COVID?
it was, yeah, I think it started off and then she told us we had to go to the auditorium.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. But all of our stuff was online still.
Yeah.
And she like really heavily took advantage of the, like, during class it was just like a PowerPoint and we
Hmm.
had to answer questions on the
Hmm.
PowerPoint, and then all of our work and all of our learning was online basically. And I was
Yeah.
like, I feel like I'm teaching myself economics at this
Hmm.
point. Like, why do I have to show up to class?
I completed 600 levels of Candy Crush during that class. If you
No,
remember,
Maggie had the worst
I was
addiction, y'all.
addicted.
She was
I was
addicted to
addicted.
Candy Crush.
It was bad, and I had to give it a break. But
It
then I
was
got back
like
on it. I
we
fell off
had
the wagon again.
there was one weekend where like I remember between like the Friday and freaking Monday of class or whatever it was, Maggie came back and she was like, I did like 200 levels of Candy Crush. It's
It's
like,
bad.
what?
It is bad. I'm on level 2700. And it's so embarrassing.
I almost spit out my
It's
drink.
so bad. I'm off the wagon. I mean,
2700.
I'm back on the wagon now. I haven't played it in a long time. Because I used to, because I was
As long
scared,
as you
like,
pick yourself back
yeah,
up,
I
Maggie.
started playing it at work, and I was like, I can't do that because
I,
it's
I
all I will
can't do
think
this
about at
again.
work, and I have to pay attention at work. So I just like I put it away.
Can't believe
I still have the app, and I like look at it every once in a while, but I haven't. I'm just like,
what if?
hello, old friend. I haven't gone back to him yet.
Oh my god.
It's rough.
That's horrifying.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah. Can't believe crazy, crazy times. But yeah, so your Thursday mini quest
Oh
is
yeah.
to break out of your comfort zone.
Mhm.
Maybe don't skip class, but go to a new
Yeah.
coffee shop, try a
Yeah.
new coffee drink,
Yeah.
pick up a new
Mhm.
hobby, or go to the gym for the first time in a
Mhm.
while. I know some of us have a hard time doing that. Um
Yeah.
So that is your Thursday mini quest.
Love
So make
it.
sure you're sticking to your Monday quest. I
Oh
think
yeah.
Maggie has a little something for us.
I do. So, as some of you may know, I am a Swiftie, very hard Swiftie. And the new album, Tortured Poets Department, came out last week. Yeah, last week. I was trying to
Yep.
think. Yeah,
Yeah.
it feels like a lifetime since then. But also, I got this today.
Already?
Already, it shipped so fast.
Oh
And
my
I
god.
still haven't gotten my vinyl either.
That's
So
crazy.
I think somebody stole it from my door. But I know, so
Oh my
sad.
god.
Yeah,
Hey,
but
that's
anyway,
horrible.
Tortured Poets Department. Me and Ari are both writers. We're both tortured poets, if you will. So I was thinking it'd be fun this week to give you a little Maggie side quest to write a poem and share it with us, or share it with somebody in your life, or post it on your
Yes.
Instagram. Just, give yourself a little like creative spark. Listen to the album, listen to any album, and pick something, a theme that you really like, and kind of just write a little poem about it.
I love that.
Hmm.
I love that. Next episode, we'll be sharing our poems,
Hmm.
and I'll be posting an extra poem to TikTok
Ooh, fancy.
um, as well.
Mhm.
Um, I listened to some of Taylor's album. I haven't listened to all of it. It's so
It,
large.
it is huge.
It is
It's
huge.
huge. Yeah.
I when I went to go check, because Maggie texted me the morning after she
Ari,
put
wake
the
up!
album.
It's a
She was like,
double
"Yeah."
album.
She literally said that, and I was like,
Mhm.
"What?" And
Yeah.
I opened Spotify, and I was like, 30,
Yeah.
30 songs.
30
Like
songs.
that's crazy.
Hmm.
Um, I love that she has a song with Posty called Fortnite. Um,
That's how I'm getting
because
all my friends at work to listen. I was like,
Posty
guys.
loves Fortnite.
Yeah.
And that is so funny to me because I
Mhm.
was like, this is about to be the goofiest song, but it was actually so
It's really
nice.
good.
But
Yeah.
I can't get like Fortnite the video game out of my head when
I
every
know.
time Taylor says Fortnite,
Fortnite. I like Fortnite.
I like Fortnite. I start doing the floss.
But yeah,
Um,
it's super
yeah.
poetry heavy album, so I've been very inspired. I've written like this many things since it freaking came out because
No way.
it is very relatable to my life. So
Wait, I'm gonna have to
I've
listen
been
to the whole
yeah,
thing.
I've been very much inspired by it. I've always been inspired by Taylor Swift, but this one, a poetry album
Oh my gosh. I
about
love it.
a long-term breakup.
Yeah.
Yeah, it hurt.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
I can imagine. And
but
like
it was great. It was very cathartic.
that's
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely like I understand the appeal of Taylor, but
Hmm.
the albums that like vibe with me the most have been like folklore,
Yeah.
and this is like the vibe of Taylor that I love.
Yes. Yeah.
It
Yeah. Yeah.
feels very artistic. It
Hmm.
feels like a piece of her soul
Yeah.
and not just like making music to make music. Like she's been very like I guess lyrical and like artistic with her
Hmm.
other music as well, but this
Yeah.
feels more magical.
It's like a perfect blend of her songwriting in like folklore and Evermore with her poppy sounds that everyone's used to in like
Mhm.
Lover, Reputation, and Midnights, and it like puts them
Yes.
together in the most beautiful way. And a
Yes.
lot of the album is about how she feels as a person versus how the public sees her. And I was like, whoa,
Ooh,
to talk about it lyrically and to portray it musically and like,
is
yeah,
crazy.
she's so talented.
Powerful.
Yeah,
I kind of love that. Yeah, I'll
yeah.
have to
I'm keeping that in. I heard that one.
I knew you'd want to hear
Thank
it.
you so much. I am honored, truly
Earlier
honored.
in the podcast, y'all, I told editor Maggie to cut it out, but I was like, hold on, I have to burp. So I
Yeah.
stopped like mid
Yeah,
sentence
I was
and
sad
I
because I missed
burped,
it.
but I like kept my mouth closed. And she was like, "Oh, I wanted to hear
I
it," and
kind
I
of
was
wanted
like,
to hear
"But
it.
it was juicy."
Yeah, I want to hear it even more.
So I let her hear it, and now she's gonna do me dirty by leaving it in there.
I'm gonna like boost the volume on it too. I'm gonna like echo reverberate it.
Oh my god! So there's this guy on TikTok that like takes like weird sounds that people makes, and he
Oh
turns them into like house music, like boom,
my
boom,
gosh,
boom,
that's
and
how we
that's
make
what I
our
need.
band.
That's what I need someone to do with my burp, please.
Please, please.
Please.
Oh my gosh, that is so great.
Oh my god. Anyway, okay.
So,
This Thursday
two
episode
quests
has
for
been
Thursday.
going on.
This is crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your two Thursday quests are: what is something that you could do to break out of your comfort zone? And write a poem and share it with
Poem.
somebody. Don't just keep it deep inside your
Yes,
soul.
share it, share it, share it, share it.
That's the key. Yes.
Share it. DM it to us if you don't want anyone else to know it. Share
Yeah.
it at hashtag my questing hour. If you do want other people to know it, share it with your mom. Share it with your lover. Share it with
With your roommate.
with your roommate. With your neighbor.
Mhm.
You know, talk to somebody.
Make a fake Instagram account and then post it on there
Yeah,
with no followers.
put it on Tumblr. They'll love it.
Yeah, they'll love it on Tumblr.
They'll love it no matter what.
Yeah. Just put it somewhere in the world so that it exists beyond your own mind. I think is
Yes.
important. Mhm.
Don't let it rot. Just
Yeah.
let it out for the
bloom.
universe.
Yeah.
And you never know. Someone may really resonate or love,
Mhm.
what you write or have to say. I think it's important to remember that when artists like Taylor are writing songs like she does or writers are putting out poetry or
Mhm.
sometimes their books or other works, like they're using their voice to say something that is important to them.
Mhm.
And when you're touching down deep to do something like poetry, I think that, you know, all of your voices are worth hearing what you have to say,
Yeah.
even if you think your writing is horrible. I want to know what you have to say. I want to
Exactly.
know what
Mhm.
you thought was so important to put
Yeah.
it on paper or type it on your phone,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah, and
So
like
that's just something to think about.
think of all the songs that you know that you personally relate to, and like all of the poems or writing that you've read where you're like, wow, this is like really speaking to me. Out of 7 billion people in the world, I guarantee you at least one will think that about your writing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So somebody out there needs to hear what you were writing and say, whoa, that really speaks to me. I feel seen in this writing.
Absolutely.
So write it and share
Do
it
it.
now.
No.
And we'll share ours. Don't worry. You won't be alone in your vulnerability.
Yes.
Mhm.
So yeah, we'll be sharing ours on the podcast as well as our socials
Oh
that
yeah.
you can see at Questing Our Podcast, Questing HR Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter is at Questing
It's
Our.
our.
And our podcast is available on YouTube and Spotify. We come out with new episodes every Monday and Thursday, and we post on our socials all the
All the
time.
time.
All
Yeah.
the
So you can
time.
always find us if you want to find
Yeah.
us.
And on Twitter, if you don't want to do any of our long form quests over here on the
Mhm.
podcast, on Twitter, we do little daily quests.
Which
So
I
be
love so
sure
much. Yeah.
to check out our Twitter if you would like
Mhm.
to join us for that. And you could easily share pictures with that with
Oh yeah.
very little commitment as opposed to the
Mhm.
podcast, I feel like.
Right? In the podcast, we're like, here is your soul. Now share it with me.
Now give it to me.
And on Twitter, it's like, what's your favorite color? Tell us.
Tell me.
Yeah. So
Send send a gif of your emotions.
right, yeah, that's an easy quest. I'll do that one, I think.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So definitely check out all those other
Mhm.
platforms. Maggie shared herself going on her date. She
I
took herself on a
did.
date
It was
and it
so
was
much
the
fun.
cutest freaking video
Thank you so
ever.
much. Yeah.
So definitely go check that out.
And
Anything else for this week?
have a great week. And have a great weekend, and we'll see you here on Monday.
Farewell, creatures.
Farewell. I forgot we were creatures this week.
And I'm going to switch it up every week.
I love it.